I didn't want to be me. I had no confidence, so I wouldn't talk to anyone new. And my mum and dad, being very, very forward-thinking parents, just looked at each other and said, we've got to help. We can't let this go on. We have to help. And they took me to a local judo club. It wasn't because it was judo. It was nothing else apart from they knew somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody that coached at the club. And that was quite simply it. So we walked through the front of this club, not really knowing what to expect. I was shaking like a leaf, and I don't really 100% remember this, but you know, this is what I'm being told. And we walked into the club, and my mum and dad introduced me to this guy called Ron Clear. And Ron, he was one of the guys that started the club with another guy called John Oak. And we walked in, my mum and dad introduced me to Ron, and Ron was the guy that was running the beginners sessions at that time, which I would join into. And he said, hi Ian, I said hello, and we did the big man's handshake and all that sort of stuff at 7 years old, which sounds very weird. Basically he said to me, he goes, so you want to have a go at judo then? And I froze, you know, it was like, well, I don't know, you know, and quickly realised that the one thing that is the biggest problem when somebody hasn't got any confidence and has a very low self-esteem is trying something new, but also talking to people that you actually don't know, because that's quite difficult. There's barriers there that you need to overcome. So Ron made me feel at ease and convinced me that yes, let's have a go at judo. And just before I was going on the judo mat, my mum and dad let Ron know that, you know, I was visually impaired. And he said two words which basically changed my life. He said, so what? He said, so what if Ian's visually impaired? Get him on the judo mat, see what he can do. And he really didn't know, as a volunteer coach, somebody that wasn't being paid to coach at all, how much he was affecting my life, and has probably affected hundreds, possibly thousands of kids' lives, of people that have walked through the front door of judo clubs that he's been coaching at. So we got on the mat at 7 years old. Within 3 months, the teasing stopped. And it wasn't because I was fighting back or teasing the guys that were teasing me. It was because that I now had this new confidence and this new self-esteem. I wanted to be Ian again. I liked myself because I'd found something I was good at. But more importantly, I had found something that forced me into a situation which meant that I had to learn to communicate properly. I had to learn how to talk to people properly, and I had to meet new people, because it was all about one-on-one combat on a judo mat. And you cannot do that without knowing the person that you're training with and talking to them. So we got over those hurdles. I started building my self-esteem. Ron and John were taking me around the country and taking me to, you know, to competitions that were good, but we were fighting, I was fighting guys that were fully sighted. Right the way up to the age of 16 I was doing this, and all of my grades I got, including my black belt, were fighting guys that were completely mainstream. They had no problems with their eyes at all. And it was difficult, but it was rewarding, because I was this poor little visually impaired guy that were beating these guys that could see, you know, and it felt great.